Hey everyone, this is TG from ToyGander.com, and today we're going to review some Game of Thrones minifigures, so let's go ahead and take a gander. Before we get started, special shout out goes to That Dude 245 and Tyler and Guyan. You guys were the winners of the last contest, so thumbs up to you, and now on to the figures. Alright, this first one is Tyrion Lannister. Okay guys, so decent printing on the overall character. I love the short feet. He's got his golden chalice, which feels actually pretty decent. One thing I did notice is his left hand. Looking at it, it looks on the right, but this is a little bit choppy right there, although the hand actually does fit in pretty nicely. His face is accurately portrayed. He has a 5 o'clock shadow on there. No back printing on the head, but overall looks very, very well representative of the actual character. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, this next one is Jon Snow. Oh man, that's stuck on there. Holy, I gotta come back for that. Alright, so first things first, his head felt like it was actually glued on there. Felt like my fingers were going to bleed trying to tear it off, so I had to get some scissors, had to pry it open and separate that. So that felt like it was almost glued on there. And even his arm joints, I noticed his arm joints were super duper tight on this. And that's just kind of what you're going to get with some of these knockoff Lego minifigures. I do like that they don't have the cool legs on here. I don't know exactly which brand this is. He looks decent enough, decent printing on the face, 5 o'clock shadows done very nicely, still vibrant enough to where you can see it. And he's got his normal sword, and he does have some metallic looking buckles that are printed on the front. The cape is one of those, it's like a paper type cape. It is technically a fabric, but it's very thin. I do like the more of the felt ones that sometimes they come with. So let's put them on here. And if you guys are interested in getting any of these, be sure to check out ToyGander.com. I'll post a link in the description so you can check them out. Okay, so this next one is either Arya Stark or Bran Stark. So let's take a look. Okay, as a closer inspection is probably or most likely Bran. Looking at his overall printing, very nicely vibrantly printed. Nothing really too much going on his face. He only has one front printing right there, nothing on the back. Decent hairpiece. I will say it must have been the mold, because the mold for the left hand or the left arm, the socket actually seems to have some extra plastic in it, and it doesn't prevent it from working well. It just looks not quite as polished as some of the other ones I've seen. So that's him. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Okay, this next one is Daenerys, the Mother of Dragons. Okay, so just the overall look at this one, I will say that even though considering these are knockoffs, Lego in general has not accurately figured out the skirt. I don't know what it is about it. It's just how it fits within there. You have to kind of interlock it within the top of the actual feet. And if it's not done, actually, even if it's done, because I think I did it pretty well, even if it's done right, it just kind of billows out and it doesn't look necessarily, it doesn't match well with Lego figures in general. So that's one downside to this figure. Even if you have this thing on right, it just doesn't quite look right. The printing on the overall characters done pretty well. I do wish that she came with like a small dragon or a tiny dragon, and I know I've seen some custom work out there, and I know that some of them do, but they cost like $50. This thing, honestly, I think only cost $1 at most. So, but decent overall printing right here. I just wish maybe the skirt was done a little differently, and it came with a tiny dragon. Alright, next up is the Night King, or the White Walker. First of all, I'm glad they didn't try and put a skirt on this one because I think it would have looked really bad if they did try and do that. So second thing, probably the most interesting character out of the bunch as far as the overall aesthetics of them. They did some nice job on the torso here, very accurate to what the actual show looks like. I do like the fact that there's some side printing here. However, I would have liked to see a little bit more detail on the arms, and they kind of went a little bit cheap on the back here. They could have done a little bit of detail on the back, however, they got away with it by putting a big old hair piece on the back to kind of cover up most of it so you don't really notice it too well. And so the face kind of also has a bit of a South Park look to it. His mouth looks a little silly, if you can see it there. It's very finely detailed, but you can see some teeth in there, and he does have pupils right in the middle. Comes with a standard spear. Probably so far my favorite character out of them. Maybe with the exception of him, I think he does look pretty good. Last one, Pawel Drago. So I'm loving the overall printing on this character. He's got some great detail, some nice detail on his side. He does have some side arm printing. Really digging the sword. They did a nice job doing that because this is not a typical sword that you see in Lego. So I do appreciate that. And looking on his back, I would have appreciated some back printing. Although again, same thing as within the Night King, is they put his hair piece long enough to where it covers majority of his back so you don't really see it or notice it. My only issue with this figure is, again, this paper skirt. Unless you give it a hard crease and you gotta really pinch and give it a hard crease, it just kind of sticks out. You can kind of see it from the side. It sticks out and looks a little goofy. So, you know, maybe if I like take some tweezers or something and really give it a hard pinch and move it down, it might end up looking good, but as of right now, it kind of looks a little silly. And here's a close-up of all the characters together. As always, there is one character somewhere on the screen that's just not quite right. So the first person to find out which character that is and post it in the comments below, you will get a shout out from me in the next video I do. Thank you guys so much for liking, clicking that thumbs up button, and subscribing, and until next time, you could help us take a gander.